Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
Gather, as of natural products. Harvest the grapes. The yield from plants in a single growing season. The gathering of a ripened crop. The season for gathering crops. Remove from a culture or a living or dead body, as for the purposes of transplantation. Should one harvest organs from dead people for transplants? The consequence of an effort or activity. They gathered a harvest of examples. Gather, as of natural products. Gather, as of natural products. Get or derive. Cultivate, tend, and cut back the growth of. The yield from plants in a single growing season. Let feed in a field or pasture or meadow. Prepare for crops. Feed as in a meadow or pasture. A pouch in many birds and some lower animals that resembles a stomach for storage and preliminary maceration of food. A collection of people or things appearing together. The annual crop of students brings a new crop of ideas. A cultivated plant that is grown commercially on a large scale. Cut short. She wanted her hair cropped short. The output of something in a season. The latest crop of fashions is about to hit the stores. The stalk or handle of a whip. Yield crops. This land crops well. The gathering of a ripened crop. The gathering of a ripened crop. The season for gathering crops. The act of gathering something. Collect in one place. Let's gather in the dining room. Assemble or get together. Gather some stones. Increase or develop. The car gathers speed. Get people together. Gather the close family members. Sewing consisting of small folds or puckers made by pulling tight a thread in a line of stitching. Draw together into folds or puckers. Collect or gather. Conclude from evidence. I gather you have not done your homework. Draw and bring closer. She gathered her shawl around her shoulders. Look for food in nature. Our ancestors gathered nuts in the fall. Assemble or get together. Acquire or deserve by one's efforts or actions. A storehouse for threshed grain or animal feed. Store grain. Call for and obtain payment of. We collected over $1 million in outstanding debts. Assemble or get together. Get or gather together. Payable by the recipient on delivery. A collect call. Gather or collect. Get or bring together. A short prayer generally preceding the lesson in the Church of Rome or the Church of England. Assemble or get together. Signal that comes out of an electronic system. What is produced in a given time period? The quantity of something, as a commodity, that is created, usually within a given period of time. Final product. The things produced. Production of a certain amount. To create or manufacture a specific amount. The computer is outputting the data from the job I'm running. The income or profit arising from such transactions as the sale of land or other property. Be the cause or source of. End resistance, as under pressure or force. The door yielded to repeated blows with a battering ram. Move in order to make room for someone for something. Consent reluctantly. Give or supply. This year's crop yielded 1,000 bushels of corn. Be flexible under stress of physical force. Give in, as to influence or pressure. Give over. Surrender or relinquish to the physical control of another. The quantity of something, as a commodity, that is created, usually within a given period of time. Be willing to concede. Bring in. Production of a certain amount. An amount of a product. Be fatally overwhelmed. Cause to happen or be responsible for. Cease opposition. Stop fighting. The act of gathering something. A group of persons together in one place. The social act of assembling. Sewing consisting of small folds or puckers made by pulling tight a thread in a line of stitching. One of the natural periods into which the year is divided by the equinoxes and solstices or atmospheric conditions. The regular sequence of the seasons. Make more temperate, acceptable, or suitable by adding something else. Lend flavor to. Make fit. This trip will season even the hardiest traveler. A period of the year marked by special events or activities in some field. He celebrated his 10th season with the ballet company. A recurrent time marked by major holidays. It was the Christmas season. One of the natural periods into which the year is divided by the equinoxes and solstices or atmospheric conditions. Remove something concrete, as by lifting, pushing, or taking off, or remove something abstract. Remove a threat. Kill intentionally and with premeditation. Go away or leave. Dispose of. Cause to leave. Get rid of something abstract. The death of her mother removed the last obstacle to their marriage. Shift the position or location of, as for business, legal, educational, or military purposes. He removed his children to the countryside. Degree of figurative distance or separation. Just one remove from madness. Remove from a position or an office. Break from a meeting or gathering. Remove something concrete, as by lifting, pushing, or taking off, or remove something abstract. This machine withdraws heat from the environment. Cause to be returned. Lose interest. Retire gracefully. Pull back or move away or backward. Keep away from others. Take back what one has said. Make a retreat from an earlier commitment or activity. Withdraw from active participation. Release from something that holds fast, connects, or entangles. Remove, a commodity, from a supply source. Remove something concrete, as by lifting, pushing, or taking off, or remove something abstract. Buy and consume food from a restaurant or establishment that sells prepared food. Take out or remove. Take away apart from, diminish. Remove from a certain place, environment, or mental or emotional state. Transport into a new location or state. Get rid of something abstract. Take from a person or place. The income or profit arising from such transactions as the sale of land or other property. Be capable of holding or containing. This box won't take all the items. Remove something concrete, as by lifting, pushing, or taking off, or remove something abstract. Take the gun from your pocket. Serve oneself to, or consume regularly. I don't take sugar in my coffee. Make a film or photograph of something. Take a scene. Be designed to hold or take. This surface will not take the dye. Require, time or space. Take somebody somewhere. Can you take me to the main entrance? Have sex with, archaic use. He had taken this woman when she was most vulnerable. Have with oneself, have on one's person. She always takes an umbrella. Receive or obtain regularly. We take the Times every day. Admit into a group or community. Head into a specified direction. Pick out, select, or choose from a number of alternatives. Take into consideration for exemplifying purposes. Assume, as of positions or roles. Interpret something in a certain way. Convey a particular meaning or impression. How should I take this message? Lay claim to, as of an idea. Accept or undergo, often unwillingly. Make use of or accept for some purpose. Take a risk. Take something or somebody with oneself somewhere. Engage for service under a term of contract. Shall we take a guide in Rome? Be stricken by an illness, fall victim to an illness. Take on a certain form, attribute, or aspect. Take as an undesirable consequence of some event or state of affairs. Get into one's hands, take physically. Can you take this bag, please? Require as useful, just, or proper. It takes nerve to do what she did. Occupy or take on. Receive willingly something given or offered. Be a student of a certain subject. Proceed along in a vehicle. Point or cause to go, blows, weapons, or objects such as photographic equipment, towards. Ascertain or determine by measuring, computing or take a reading from a dial. Take a pulse. Be seized or affected in a specified way. Take sick. Buy, select. I'll take a pound of that sausage. Carry out. Take action. Experience or feel or submit to. Obtain by winning. Winner takes all. Take by force. Take into one's possession. I'll take 3 salmon steaks. The act of photographing a scene or part of a scene without interruption. Travel or go by means of a certain kind of transportation, or a certain route. He takes the bus to work. A phenomenon that follows and is caused by some previous phenomenon. Produce as a result or residue. Issue or terminate, in a specified way, state, etc., end. Result in tragedy. A statement that solves a problem or explains how to solve the problem. He computed the result to 4 decimal places. The semantic role of the noun phrase whose referent exists only by virtue of the activity denoted by the verb in the clause. Something that results. He listened for the results on the radio. Come about or follow as a consequence. Nothing will result from this meeting. A phenomenon that follows and is caused by some previous phenomenon. His decision had depressing consequences for business. Having important effects or influence. Decisions of great consequence are made by the president himself. The outcome of an event especially as relative to an individual. A phenomenon that follows and is caused by some previous phenomenon. The magnetic effect was greater when the rod was lengthwise. Of a law, having legal validity. The law is still in effect. Produce. The central meaning or theme of a speech or literary work. An outward appearance. She retained that bold effect in her reproductions of the original painting. Act so as to bring into existence. Effect a change. An impression, especially one that is artificial or contrived. He just did it for effect. A symptom caused by an illness or a drug. The effects of sleep loss. A phenomenon that follows and is caused by some previous phenomenon. He acted very wise after the event. A special set of circumstances. In that event, the first possibility is excluded. A phenomenon located at a single point in spacetime, the fundamental observational entity in relativity theory. Something that happens at a given place and time. A phenomenon that follows and is caused by some previous phenomenon. The income or profit arising from such transactions as the sale of land or other property. Circulate or distribute or equip with. Issue a new uniform to the children. Come out of. Water issued from the hole in the wall. The act of issuing printed materials. One of a series published periodically. She found an old issue of the magazine in her dentist's waiting room. An opening that permits escape or release. The canyon had only one issue. The becoming visible. Prepare an issue for public distribution or sale. Supplies, as food or clothing or ammunition, issued by the government. The immediate descendants of a person. He died without issue. The act of providing an item for general use or for official purposes, usually in quantity. A new issue of stamps. Make out an issue. Some situation or event that is thought about. An important question that is in dispute and must be settled. The issue could be settled by requiring public education for everyone. Bring out an official document, such as a warrant. A phenomenon that follows and is caused by some previous phenomenon. Something that results. A phenomenon that follows and is caused by some previous phenomenon. The omission that is made when an editorial change shortens a written passage. Weed out unwanted or unnecessary things. We had to lose weight, so we cut the sugar from our diet. Cut down on. Make a reduction in. The employer wants to cut back health benefits. The act of penetrating or opening open with a sharp edge. His cut in the lining revealed the hidden jewels. Made neat and tidy by trimming. In baseball, a batter's attempt to hit a pitched ball. He took a vicious cut at the ball. Used of rates or prices, reduced usually sharply. Lessen the strength or flavor of a solution or mixture. Cut bourbon. Cut and assemble the components of. Cut recording tape. Used of grass or vegetation, cut down with a hand implement or machine. Reduce in scope while retaining essential elements. The act of cutting something into parts. His cuts were skillful. Refuse to acknowledge. She cut him dead at the meeting. Turn sharply. Change direction abruptly. The car cut to the left at the intersection. Be able to manage or manage successfully. She could not cut the long days in the office. Mixed with water. Sold cut whiskey. A refusal to recognize someone you know. The act of shortening something by chopping off the ends. The barber gave him a good cut. Sports. A stroke that puts reverse spin on the ball. Cuts do not bother a good tennis player. Style and tailor in a certain fashion. Cut a dress. With parts removed. The drastically cut film. A wound made by cutting. He put a bandage over the cut. Create by duplicating data. Cut a disk. Cease, stop. Cut the noise. Cut off the testicles, of male animals such as horses. A piece of meat that has been cut from an animal carcass. Make out an issue. Cut a ticket. A trench resembling a furrow that was made by erosion or excavation. A remark capable of wounding mentally. The unkindest cut of all. Intentionally fail to attend. Cut class. A distinct selection of music from a recording or a compact disc. He played the first cut on the CD. The division of a deck of cards before dealing. He insisted that we give him the last cut before every deal. Of a male animal, having the testicles removed. A cut horse. Cuss to stop operating by disengaging a switch. Cut the engine. A canal made by erosion or excavation. Allow incision or separation. This bread cuts easily. An unexcused absence from class. He was punished for taking too many cuts in his math class. A share of the profits. Everyone got a cut of the earnings. A step on some scale. He is a cut above the rest. Discharge from a group. The coach cut 2 players from the team. Dissolve by breaking down the fat of. Soap cuts grease. Divide a deck of cards at random into 2 parts to make selection difficult. Wayne cut. Fashioned or shaped by cutting. A well-cut suit. Fell by sawing. Hew. The Vietnamese cut a lot of timber while they occupied Cambodia. Film. An immediate transition from one shot to the next. The cut from the accident scene to the hospital seemed too abrupt. Form by probing, penetrating, or digging. Cut a hole. Form or shape by cutting or incising. Cut paper dolls. Function as a cutting instrument. This knife cuts well. Give the appearance or impression of. Cut a nice figure. Grow through the gums. The new tooth is cutting. Have a reducing effect. This cuts into my earnings. Have grow through the gums. The baby cut a tooth. Hit a ball with a spin so that it turns in the opposite direction. Cut a ping pong ball. Make an abrupt change of image or sound. Cut from one scene to another. Make an incision or separation. Cut along the dotted line. Make a recording of. Cut the songs. Move one's fist. His opponent cut upward toward his chin. Pass directly and often in haste. We cut through the neighbor's yard to get home sooner. Pass through or across. The boat cut the water. Penetrate injuriously. The glass from the shattered windshield cut into her forehead. Perform or carry out. Cut a caper. Reap or harvest. Cut grain. Record a performance on a medium. Cut a record. Separated into parts or laid open or penetrated with a sharp edge or instrument. The cut surface was modeled. Separate with or as if with an instrument. Shorten as if by severing the edges or ends of. Cut my hair. Stop filming. Cut a movie scene. The act of reducing the amount or number. The mayor proposed extensive cuts in the city budget. The style in which a garment is cut. A dress of traditional cut. Of pages of a book, having the folds of the leaves trimmed or slit. The cut pages of the book. The yield of fruit. A tree highly recommended for its fruitage. The season for cutting and drying and storing grass as fodder. The harvesting of hay. The practice of cultivating the land or raising stock.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.